Okay, so thank you all for coming again. This is another vibe coding session where we just jam out and talk about what we're building, the fun that we're having, the issues that we're having, and all the things in between. If you haven't been with us before, I think actually everybody has been here before. Maybe STL hasn't. But yeah, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to talk a little bit about the basics, what I'm working on, and some things that the community has brought up, and then we'll come into like a show and tell version of the jam session where you can present your questions, you can talk about what you're working on, you can showcase what you're working on, and we have Chad with us this week. Chad is a expert in the field at Soapbox, and he will be here to answer any questions that I can't, and then we'll just go from one to one and do a show and tell. So anyways, so vibe coding is all about yes, it does have a screen share. I'm going to share my screen here in a second. Vibe coding is all about the art of the prompt. Okay, the art of the prompt. You need to learn how to talk to AI. You need to learn how to convey to AI what you want it to build. And in doing so, you might think, oh, it's no big deal. I know what I want. But it's best to look at this from a 10,000 foot level and see the whole entire picture, come up with the design spec, come up with the features and everything, because you'll get much better applications. If I just say, like this example, create a modern portfolio website with a dark theme, a contact form, and project showcase section. That's pretty basic, but that's only a very few and descriptive words. It's going to leave a lot of the design up to the AI, which may be fine. But if you have very specific features that you want, for example, maybe your contact form, you don't want to have an email address. Well, an email address is kind of like standard for a contact form. Maybe you don't want to do an email address. You want to do Nostr. So you would have to say, I want the contact form to be built on Nostr. I want to use Nostr DMs or something like that. You would have to be a little bit more descriptive. Otherwise, it's just going to give you most likely a standard contact form with an email address, because that's how contact forms have been built for the last 20 years. So we need to be as descriptive as possible, and this comes even down to even the user interface too. Like you say dark theme, and that's fine. It's going to give you a basic dark theme, but maybe you want maybe you want buttons that are rounded, and maybe you want gradients or things like that. So it's kind of best to figure out how exactly you want your website, how you want your application to look, and how you want all the features to function. Then you can separate those out into different sections, different paragraphs. One of the tools that I use, and a lot of people use, is we kind of just throw all of this, I'll just say like napkin descriptions, a bunch of gobbledygook into another AI. So maybe you take all this information over to ChatGPT maybe, and you say, hey, ChatGPT, here's all these random sentences of how I want my application to look. Reorganize this and structure this into a prompt that I can use to give to another AI. And then it will do that. It'll structure all of your content, all of your ideas a little bit better for you and help you organize all of that. And then you can copy and paste that right into Shakespeare if you want to, or any other tool that you're using. As you're building your app, as you're prompting it, tweaking it, honing in the features, honing in the design, you'll start to notice that sometimes the cost starts getting more expensive as you go on, because what is happening is think of it as it remembering the whole entire conversation, and every single time you add a piece of that conversation, the AI has to remember more of it and more of it and more of it. So this whole entire we call it a context. The context of the conversation, the context of what we're building gets fed back into the AI every single time we prompt. So it just keeps getting larger and larger and larger. Not only my input to the AI, but my output from the AI. This all contributes to what people call the context window. It's just the conversation. So the conversation that the AI has to remember gets larger and larger. So one thing I wanted to show you this week, what I'm building up to is, if you're using Shakespeare and your context window or your conversation is getting very, 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 very large, and you're noticing that one of two things are happening. One, your results are maybe not what you think they should be. Maybe you're stuck on a bug and the bug isn't getting fixed. Or maybe every time you tell the AI to build a feature, it might cost a couple dollars instead of a couple cents like it did in the beginning. It's good to go down here and click on this reset context and have it reset the context. So it'll lose everything that you were talking about and kind of start fresh. So every time I see STL, I think of St. Louis. I'm just going to say St. Louis. So St. Louis says, how good is MK Stack with Bitcoin, Lightning, Cashew, and other non-Nostr things? I will say now MK Stack is really good with Lightning and with Nostr Wallet Connect, because actually the guy in this jam session, Chad, he updated MK Stack, maybe about a month ago now, to have it handle Lightning, Zaps, and Nostr Wallet Connect much better than it previously did. So it does that really well now. As for Cashew, to be honest with you, I've never had it build something with Cashew, but I would just assume that it might struggle a little bit with it. Chad, have you ever tried to do anything with Cashew?
Not personally, but I know Lemon has a fork of MK Stack that uses it, or at least derives some information from like open source projects like Chorus, for instance, to see how they did their Cashew.
Yeah. So that's an actual fun example. So what I was going to say, what I would do, let me show you. Let's see. Let me look. Let's see. Chorus is on GitHub. What I would do if I were to, actually, you can't see what I'm doing here, but that's okay. So with MK Stack, I would go to GitHub, and I would copy the URL, right? I need to change. I need to stop my share screen here, and I want to share an entire window. Let's change to. Do I have? Hold on a second. I'm going to show you what I would do. Exactly what I would do. Let's change here. Share. Okay. You can see this. Let's do. So what I would do is I would do git clone. And I would clone Chorus. Why am I choosing Chorus? Because Chorus has working Cashew, this application. So once I clone Chorus, then I would, just as an example, new project. So I would do, let's see, new project. All right, so this is the name of my new application. I start up Stacks agent. I start up MK Stack. And what I would do is, now let's say this has already been cloned, so you wouldn't get this message about no agent, JSON, or no MCP, pretending you're already in a project. I would just say, I want to implement Cashew, learn how to do this by looking at Cashew implementations from ... /chorus. I spell it right, chorus project. I've literally done this. So what I'm telling the AI here is I want to implement Cashew. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to prompt you how to do it. But I know that if you look in this directory, the chorus directory here, where Cashew is working, you can learn how to do it and learn from this existing implementation. So you do something like that. So I do this. I do this often. If there's a feature that I know 100% works in another project, and actually my BitChat X project, I literally did this. I guess I could have used that as an example. When I was building that chat program, which I'm going to talk about later, I cloned an existing repository, told the AI what I wanted it to build, and then said, as a reference implementation, look at this existing directory. And then it does it. It'll say, sometimes it'll, depending on what program you're using, like if you're using Goose or Claude or Stacks, whatever, sometimes it'll say, it'll request permission to read this new directory and add this new directory to permission access. But besides that, yeah. So that's what I do when I try to do things that I know the AI doesn't understand how to do, or if I personally don't know how to prompt it how to do it, I give it a reference implementation. So I hope that small tangent there, I hope was useful. Hey, what's up, TK? Yeah, so what we're doing here now, I'm just talking about some basics. I'm going to give a demonstration on something that I built yesterday and today, and then open up the floor to whoever wants to present and whoever wants to ask questions, whoever wants to showcase something that they were working on. So we're gonna close this here, and we're gonna kill this new project directory because there's actually nothing in there. So we're gonna look at the BitChat X application. So I built this just yesterday. I built it with Claude, actually, because Stacks, not that I couldn't have used Stacks or MK Stack, but it wouldn't have worked. MK Stack is a template for web applications, and I didn't want to build a web application. So the reason I want to talk about this is because it shows how really hard it is to build something without an existing template. So this, as I was mentioning earlier, I was talking about this like context window. The MK Stack context window includes all of the tips and tricks and all the code on how to make a Noster web application work. So that's why we kind of recommend, if you're building a Noster app to use and you want to build a web app, to use MK Stack, or if you want to build an Android app, you can do Purple Stack. These existing templates that people kind of already made for you. So I didn't do that with BitChat X. I went alone. Take this and go, and go alone. I did that and it worked, but I threw a lot of it together by saying, I literally, so I started up Claude. And the cool thing about Claude is let's see, what are we looking at here? Yeah. I can hit up and look at all these other things here. Can I get to my very first one? No. So I wanted to look in here. I can look at my history, but I can't go the whole way back up. So I wanted to show you my very first prompt, but I guess I can't do that. So my very first prompt was, I want to make a Rust application that accesses the Noster network, that accesses ephemeral messages kind 20,000, or I'm sorry, 20,000. And I want it to be a I want it to be a terminal IRC style application in the form of the 1990s BitchX client, to learn how to implement this new chat application called BitChat. Look in the directory /BitChat/Android or -Android and the BitChat directory. So I gave it two reference implementations. the iOS implementation and the Android implementation, and told it to learn how to do geohash channels and all this other stuff based on these two references. And it did. It built it. I have it still open over here. No, I don't. I guess it was that window. So, it built it. It works. It's exactly what I wanted. There's still some bugs. But yeah, you can join channels. You can, let's see, we can join the 21M channel. I can tab between the different channels, DR, system, 21. And let's see, what else is there? I built a bunch of help commands, different commands, and I did like tab autocomplete. So let's see, cells, I can hit tab and automatically, just like IRC applications did many moons ago. So it mostly works. I'm struggling right now with scroll. The chat window starts at the top up here. Like we see candidate A, like it'll scroll the whole way down nice and normal and fast until it gets down to the very bottom. Now once it gets down here, it'll stop scrolling. And then every once in a while a new message will trickle in. And I literally fought all today to try to get this to work. I don't know how to get it to work. So for now, I built a workaround. If I just type /clear, it'll reset the window. And I've been fighting with AI, like I said, all day to try to get this to work. I don't know how to get it to work. But hey, they're speaking of TK. There he is. He's live on the 21M channel, and he's in our chat. Yeah. We'll say TK, hit tab. Hello. Yeah, but you can change your nickname and all the other stuff, whatever you want to do. Anyway, so this is my vibe coded app. I specifically built this because I wanted to have a IRC style bitchat application. I want to add a whole bunch of features, but right now I'm fighting to get the scroll to work. I implemented some spam rate limiting kind of features to automatically mute people based on several factors. I don't really know if that works. I need another spam attack to happen. I'm assuming it will, probably tonight. And then we'll see if that works. But so far everything works. You can switch to channels. You can tag people. You can slap people with Trout, just like back in the day. I can slap TK. And I also have bold and italics too. So that all works. It is my fun little project that I kind of nerd sniped myself on. Last night I sat down to do work and this idea popped up in my head and I've been kind of obsessed with it ever since. Anyway, so that's Derek's vibe coding project of the week. Does anybody have any questions specifically for me about this or how I did it or what I used or why I did something specifically? And if not, we'll move on to somebody else.
I'll ask a question as a member of the Soapbox community.
Sure.
Do you have any plans to convert or at least try to replicate your workflow and maybe create a stack based on it? Because this is very, very cool.
So I would love to talk to you about that. Sure. Like besides, let me start over. I don't know what I would need to rip out specifically to create a stack for it. I would love to figure it out though.
Awesome.
Yeah,
well, that's a good answer for me.
Yeah, let's try to do that so other people can build Rust applications. Like I'll tell you, the main reason I chose Rust was because with NoteDeck, I'm kind of familiar with compiling stuff with Rust, and I know that I can build for Windows, Linux, and Mac OS with Rust. So that's the main reason I chose it, just so it can be multi-platform.
Hmm.
I guess we could. It'll build for Android too if you wanted this application on Android. But yeah, yeah, Chad, let's work on that sometime when we have some time to figure out what I need to rip out to make a stack with this. That'd be cool.
Heck yeah. Let's see.
Cool. Okay. Well, does anybody else have any questions? If not, we'll pass the floor over to whoever wants to go next. Okay. So I know that Daniel has something to share. Uh, Daniel, do you want to go?
Yeah,
You
put
have
me on the
something
spot.
prepared or questions or
Well,
anything?
I mean, I do. I can definitely talk about what I'm building.
Yeah, let's do that.
So
I
it's
want to
funny.
hear
I,
about
I
your
was
journey.
I mentioned it in the notes grid chat like a week or so ago, and TK was like, "I'm not sure that's a good idea, but I'm going for it." So if you guys have ever used, it's called BuzzPay. BuzzPay it's just a fun little app that was built by the Albi team, which basically it's a point of sale. It's a very simple point of sale. It
Okay.
plugs into Nostr Wallet Connect. Um, and it hasn't really been updated since it was first coded. There's really like only a few features that it has, but what it does do is it does it really well. Like as far as like if I was looking for a point of sale system that I wanted to just build and deploy that would take 2 minutes to set up, this is what I would use. And so I was thinking about it, because I'm trying to actually bring on more businesses in my local area onto
Okay.
Lightning. They're restaurants, bars, coffee shops, vendors, street carts, and just anyone who runs a small business has a need, and I want to try to supply that for them. I want to give them the opportunity to access the Lightning Network and receive Bitcoin. Yes, you're looking at right now. You're looking at BuzzPay.
Yes. So this
So
is the
this you can
original
see.
BuzzPay.
Yeah, we should go through the original one first. So you can see it hasn't been updated in a long time. Even the Bitcoin Connect widget that's on the intro screen is the original one. It doesn't have most of the new connectors. But go through that anyway. Just pick like any NWC that you have. If you've got a Koinos profile, which I highly don't recommend Koinos,
Yeah.
but Rizful is a good one. They have actually I worked with them to uh, make a specific feature within Rizful that could interface with any point of sale system. But if you've got one that you want to use, you can drop it in there. And then the first thing that you do, yeah, if you already connected to your node,
Yeah. I mean, I'm
it'll
not
just
gonna share
there's
this
all
with
these
you.
different ways. Yeah, but I'll in my demo I'll show how it works.
Cool.
So why don't I just go ahead and share screen?
Yeah. Let's do it.
We can talk about it.
You take
Okay,
over.
so
It's your baby. I'm curious to
excellent.
see. So
Yeah,
Daniel messaged me last week and he's like, "Hey man, I'll have some questions and what do you use? What is your methods?" And I said, "Hey, you need to check out Claude Code because for $20 a month, it's a great tool. It's only $20 and you get a lot of use out of that $20." And I
yes,
think you did, right? Like
absolutely.
you,
Well,
you
no, so
checked it out.
when I started doing this, so originally, the first real like when I coded any kind of app at all ever, I was doing it using MKStack, and I was just trying to figure out how to do it because I actually had to give a presentation to a group of educators here in New York. People who basically they're teachers who teach students in the workforce. People who have to try to either change jobs or improve their skills, and so it was a way to show these educators what new technologies are out there that they could be taking advantage of, and they specifically asked me to come in and talk about AI and Nostr. I didn't know a whole lot about AI, to be honest. So I'm like, I better learn what I can so I can, sort of teach the basics. And so I went through a lot of the presentations. I looked at like what Alex Gleason had built. I talked to you for a bit, just trying to figure out like what can I learn from this that I can actually take into this classroom. So I built this app. I want to actually, why don't I show you that first? How the heck do I share my screen? Let's do it here.
Hit that. Hit that.
I want to show
Oops, I muted you.
this.
There's a
There we
share
go.
screen button at the bottom.
Yep. I'm just making sure I'm sharing the right one.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll share this one here. And let me go to. Now I have to remember what I was going to share. And it's like, if you give me a minute, I'll look for it. But in the meantime, let me just pull up this point of sale. This is the one that I was talking about before. It's BuzzPay. I'm going to log out of this one. Yeah. While we're talking, I can tell a little bit more about that other product. Basically, what I decided to build originally was a Noster tool. It allows you to upload an image directly to Noster by creating a new set of keys. Basically, all it did, you just use the Noster Connect feature. It creates your public-private key pair. You download your private key, and then upload an image. It's all it does. But it worked. It worked really well. It posted the image. I was able to show where it was.
Yeah.
And then my challenge to people in the room was go find that image. Go take that private key or the public key and go plug it into a Noster client and try to find the image you posted. And the first person who could find it won a t-shirt.
Nice.
Hang on, I'm actually going to look for it. It was called Pickup. Here it is. Okay. This is the one I built. Let's see if I can find the actual link. Yeah, there it is. Hope it's still running. Okay, there it is. So you can see this.
Looks like
Pickup.
MK Stack to me, is it?
Yeah. I didn't style it or anything. There's nothing like it. This is the bare bones app. I built this in 10 minutes. And just so you have some context, I had to figure out how to actually connect all the tools to build something using MK Stack. And this is, again, my first time doing it. So I think I used Open Router as my interface. And that allowed me to connect to the AI tool on MK Stack on the back end. I don't even remember what it was called, to be honest, but it worked. I was able to give it some instructions and it worked. So here, what I want to do is log in. Obviously, here you can log in with an extension, but my message to everyone, my instruction to everyone was just create a new one. So because I wanted to show them how easy it is to actually create Noster keys. So you hit the generate my key, and then you get this NSEC, just unsafe NSEC on the screen, but I'm just going to copy that. You can download it if you want, which I'm not going to do. Save the key, and then this is what you can do. Now you're logged in. I'm Proud Cheetah. It just gives me an automatic name up here. You can choose relays. I didn't tell them anything about this. I just use the relay that's there. Yep. Don't worry about it. And then if I want to upload an image, just literally pick an image off my desktop. So in this case, I'm just going to pick this logo that I created. Yeah, I'll use that one. And then I hit, hello, world, and then hit create post. So what that's going to do, it's uploading it to a Blossom relay on I guess it's on Primal, and then now there's nothing here. I didn't give it any other instructions. Just you post the image, right? So
you probably didn't have in your prompt what you wanted to happen.
But then I walked through the process. Okay, let's go to Primal, and go find it. So we have that private key. I'm gonna reject logging in with the private key here. Actually, I'm gonna do it in a new window. Make it even more fun, right? So we'll go here, hit get started, log in. Paste in that private key, gonna go without a PIN, and then that's it. Now we're logged in, go to my profile, and boom, there's the image I posted. Nice. And this blew people's minds because they're like, well, I didn't create an account. All I did was click a button. And this is what I was trying to show is how easy it is to actually not just use Noster, but to build something that interfaces with Noster. It's completely permissionless. All I had to do is figure out how to host this thing, and I, just learned how to do it on Netlify. And again, it this whole thing at midnight on a weekend for 15 minutes. So that was my first introduction to using AI coding tools. Then, of course, Jack Dorsey came along with BitChat, and he was coding in Goose. So I started playing around with Goose, and I was still using OpenRouter, had that connected to Goose. I was connecting on the back end to Claude, and I didn't realize since I'm using the API, I didn't realize I could have just gone directly to Claude and gotten the membership, gotten an annual, subscription, and save myself a bunch of money. But the one thing I was able to do that you can't do with the subscription is just go balls to the wall, code as much as possible without even thinking about time limits. So I think I blew through like maybe $300 in credits just building this app. But I
That's
didn't
not
have to
bad.
worry about
My first app was
no.
$800, so
Right, I remember you saying
$863. So you
blew
were
a whole
cheaper than
bunch of
me.
but it was worth it because I was able to actually do what I wanted and learn in the process while I was building it, which made it a lot easier for me now that I've switched over to just using Claude directly through the command line.
Yeah.
And now I have to think about, okay, I have this 5-hour block that I can code in, and then it's gonna give me a break, which I need. It's like gives you a sort of mental reset. Make sure you check in with your family, and so I can take breaks, come back, think fresh with ideas that may have marinated over the last couple hours, and go work on some other aspects of my project. So I'll show you what I've been building. This is Sats Factory. I'm going to log out of this one because this is my previous demo. So Sats Factory is a point of sale that's built on BuzzPay. I forked it in
So you
GitHub.
forked BuzzPay. Did you
Yes.
fork it, and then you used whatever LLM and agent to make all the updates and changes to it?
Yeah, exactly. And just one by one. And the first thing I'm learning as I'm doing this is take baby steps, right? Code in little bites.
Yes.
Because if you try to do too many things all at once, you are going to get in trouble because you're going to forget what you told it to do. It's going to make mistakes.
Yes.
And then you're going to have a lot of cleanup to do. That was number one. Number two was talking to my friends who have coding backgrounds that I don't have, and learning how to do all the basic like best practices like commit and use branches.
Absolutely.
And be careful when you're merging. Make sure you stage your edits. Make sure you test locally if you can. And I'm doing that now. I've got my local host that I can test things on and see the instant changes. I can publish it to Vercel and then see it live without going to the pushing it to the live server, to the prod server. I'm still on dev, and I can make sure things are working before I merge the code and have to then deal with like reversing back to where I was if I made a mistake.
Yeah, these are the things that like if you're not a developer, this is like the whole entire part of the process is kind of foreign to you. So
it really is.
You get caught up in the excitement of, hey, I can very easily build something, but
also just so you know, like
it's really hard to troubleshoot and fix if you don't do all these other steps.
Like the other thing is like my background is literally like coding using like HTML, CSS, like light JavaScript, and all I was doing up until I was learning how to do vibe coding was like I have just a regular web server, and I FTP my files to the web server, and I edit them locally and push them to the server using an FTP client, and then just check them live. Like that's the extent of what I'm doing. Like I code in like PHP. I don't use things like, or haven't up till now been using things like deployment tools. Haven't been using TypeScript. Haven't been using Node.js. These are things that were like I thought way beyond my level, but I'm learning it in bits and bytes now because of the way that Claude is coding. And so I can now like get these processes down and understand how all those tools work together.
So
right, I hadn't figured that out before.
I'm going to ask you a question. Since when we were talking the other day, we were kind of both surprised that if you use Claude to make a GitHub commit, it credits itself.
Yes.
Have you learned since then?
I have learned my lesson. Yes,
awesome.
I have.
Awesome. That's
yes. So, in fact, I've been doing that all along. Like, I hadn't. This is the first time I had that experience, because I hadn't been I've been using Claude on the API side. So I'm basically using Claude as the back end of Goose. I never had to deal with the Claude giving itself credit before. So if I look back, let me see if I'm still, I don't even know what window I'm sharing anymore. Because I have to find
what he did there is Daniel was using Claude code, and then he was typing
I'll show you that
command,
example.
like, make a GitHub, make a Git commit and publish it to GitHub, something along those lines. And when he did it, he found out if you go in and look at the commit message, Claude was
I'll show it to you. I'll show it
was
to you. So
was crediting
you're looking
itself.
at my yeah, I think you're looking at my GitHub, right? You can see it.
Yes, yeah, we see it.
Okay, so one of these, I think it was probably one of these merges that I did. I'm not sure if I can find it here, but it did actually say Claude on it. I have to try to find it now. It's going to be in here somewhere. But yeah, that was like a surprising thing because it wasn't doing that prior
Yeah.
to this.
I mean,
Yeah,
it makes sense. I mean, it has if you tell it to do the commits for you and do the PRs and do everything, like it'll be very detailed, more detailed than I normally am when I give my commits. So I guess
oh, it does a good
sense.
job, and I'm not like
Yeah.
I don't even care. Like I am crediting Claude anyway. Like if you go into my README, files, if I just look at like I don't know if I can find it down here at the bottom, I think I did actually give it credit. Yeah, no, it's not in this version, but in one of the versions I'm writing now that I haven't published, it does. Like I'm crediting Alby obviously because I forked the code, and in my local repo I did say like coded with Claude because
Yeah.
I don't want people to think I'm like trying to hide that fact. Like, of course not.
All right. So
But
let's
yeah,
check out the app here.
so let's look at the app. Okay, so here we are. We're on this is the first thing you see, and this is by the way running on an actual web server. So I have the domain name satsfactory.com. I'm doing it under pos.satsfactory, so the subdomain. This is all hosted on Vercel, and I'm using Cloudflare on the front end to just basically protect the domain name from DOS attacks. So if I go to Rizful, which is what I'm recommending people use just to start out. If you don't have your own node, if you just want to get NWC, cool thing about Rizful, so you can go to NWC on the right side of the tab and get your codes. So down here, this was actually a new feature that they added. I talked to Megalith last week, and I'm like, can you please provide me with an NWC code that's can't send from? It's read only, and you can do this if you have your own node. If you're running like NWC on any like LND node, but it's not a feature you get in Primal or Koinos or like any of the standard NWC wallets. It's something that you have to actually do through your node. So I wanted to see if we could do that here, and I got this feature added to Rizful.
Cool.
This is the connection code. Again, like you could screenshot this and it wouldn't matter because you could only pay me. You couldn't retrieve money from the wallet. It's not a good practice to show these NWC connection codes, obviously, but in this case, it's fine because it's read only. So I copied that, and I'm going to go back to my point of sale screen and hit Connect Wallet. This is all of the connectors that are now available on the Bitcoin Connect
So you added all these extra
repo.
ones.
So I basically just had it. That was one of the features I added was update the existing component with the new component, and it did it very efficiently. Like there was not a single problem with it. So it just works, which was amazing. So these are all the little features that I'm adding, and I'm realizing, it's actually pretty easy to code these things in bytes. So I'm going to click on Rizful. It doesn't matter. I could click on NWC. I could click on Primal. Like any of the ones that let you paste in your code, they're all identical. They just have different instructions. So, and I found a bug in Bitcoin Connect when I was doing this. They had, for Rizful, they actually had LN bits copy. So I reported that in an issue, and I got that fixed. So don't be afraid to do that. If you find a bug in someone else's code, make sure you let them know. So now the first thing we're going to get is a pin code. This is a feature that was not available in BuzzPay, right? I can even go like, one by one and show you like the BuzzPay version versus mine. If I were to connect it here and just go Nostr Wallet Connect and hit connect, it's going to take me right into the point of sale. But in my version, I want to be able to have it lock out unwanted users, right? So if you have like an iPad sitting at the front desk of a, the counter at a coffee shop, you don't want people to go in and tamper with it, change the settings, change the NWC wallets. Like you want to make sure that's locked down. So I do put a pin code on that.
That's nice and simple and it's standard. Like people are used to pins.
And this is also like you can do up to 6-digit, I think. But this is also what's cool about it is you can this is all set locally. Like there's no server running this at all. Everything is locally stored in your browser. So then it just reminds you to store your PIN code. You can't request a new one. You can only reset the whole thing because that's one of the security features. So now I'm logged in. This is the first thing I get is my point of sale. I can instantly start taking payments. So I can do 1 cent and automatically do the conversion. I added this feature. This was not available in the old BuzzPay. It has a timeout. So if you don't pay the invoice in 5 minutes, it'll just expire. It doesn't expire the invoice; it just expires the display. The invoice will stay open as long as it stays open, which I guess is probably 24 hours. So it could technically be paid, but it wouldn't show up on the point of sale. And that's just because if you're at a retail environment, you don't want to leave it open like that forever. If your customer can't pay, let's say their wallet doesn't work or they walk away, you want to just be able to have it automatically reset. You can also just hit cancel and it'll do that. Another feature I added that wasn't part of the original was to be able to actually see the invoice details. So it exposes that. You can always copy it just by clicking on the QR code, but people didn't know that. And so I was asked by some testers to add this in as well, so you have that ability to copy. So that's cool. And if I pay it, just pay it with a different wallet. I'm just going to do it using my phone. Watch very carefully. And what you'll see is another feature I added. So did you catch that?
The little lightning bolt?
Lightning bolt, yeah. So I found that. That was like, this is one of the things I learned. Like, obviously, don't ask your AI agent to do something creative. Like, don't be like, "Hey, give me lightning bolts," because it'll give you the worst possible version of what you have.
It doesn't know what you mean.
Yeah.
By give me a lightning bolt.
It gave me the most ridiculous looking. I wish I'd taken a screenshot. They were just horrific looking, and I'm like, okay, this is not going to work. So then I went to CodePen, and I found someone's really beautiful lightning bolt, and I just took the code from that and put it into my app. I just said, use this, and it put it in, and it basically worked off the get-go. I had to make a few modifications to the color and to the styles and things, but it worked. It was like pretty quick. So then one of the things I did that's very different than BuzzPay was the tip feature. So like if you go to a point of sale, this is something I learned, and you probably have experienced this if you ever went to any place that has a point of sale, right? They ask you for the tip before you finish paying. Mm-hmm. Like you're buying a coffee for $4 and it's like instantly asks you for another $1, like right away, which I find really kind of disrespectful. I'm not a big fan of American tipping culture, and I think the way that it's done is, especially now, they've just gone overboard. And the point of sales are just aggressively trying to shake you down for tips. I don't like that experience, and I want to make it more respectful. So this is an idea I brought to this new version, which is you pay the first check just like you're like sitting at a table in a restaurant. You pay the bill, and then they come back and ask you if you want to leave a tip. That's an optional thing. Also, I've noticed like some point of sale systems will try to trick you by reversing the tip order to put the high percentages on the left side. And so like I accidentally did that once, and I was like, oh, 30%, cool. I haven't even had my coffee yet, and I'm already being ripped off. So I want to do it differently. I think tipping on a Bitcoin standard is more respectful. You can't take a second payment from someone using Bitcoin. Like if I pay using my debit card, they'll adjust the payment overnight, and the next morning I can have the additional fee added to my bill. You have to manually offer to do that with Bitcoin. So I think I wanted to make tipping feel more like a Bitcoin transaction.
I like it.
So now I want to add a tip. So what it does here is it's remembering the amount I previously paid. So the only thing it stores is in temporary memory. It knows what the last payment was just to calculate the tip. No other data is ever stored, and it's all flushed out at the end of the transaction. So I have my standard tip percentages, which, by the way, I can always change these. These are part of the settings, but I left it, kind of defaults 15, 18, 20, 25. I'll leave a 20% tip. On 9 sats, it's going to calculate 1 sat. So then it'll say the total with tip is 10 sats. You can also do a custom amount if you wanted to. You can even toggle between sats and dollars. all this like stuff in here. So when I hit tip, right, I like this amount that I'm going to offer. The button turns green. I get the same window I got before, right? Except now it says tip amount. And then the other thing that's really cool, and this is actually something that I learned from talking to business owners, was the fact that it's really hard to calculate tips on Bitcoin because it all gets kind of merged together. So let's say like I took a check for $10, and then I paid a $5 tip, so I'm gonna get $15. It's gonna all go into this one transaction, and I, as the business owner, now have to figure out like how much tip do I have to take out and give to my employee, and was it included before or after tax, like all this stupid stuff. So I fixed the whole thing, right? Look, I've been going into my Rizzful account.
Comment to say a tip.
I used the comment, right? That's a feature that BuzzPay didn't have, and I'm like, oh, we can just fucking do it this way. So I have, it says payment 1 cent, 9 sats, then it says tip 1 sat, and I can download my spreadsheet and go look at my like, I don't know if I can do it in here, but you can see like, I can probably show you what it looks like. But anyway, it's going to have like my CSV, and it's going to say tips, and so I can go send that to my accountant and be like, hey, these are the tips, these are the payments. I can also, here's another thing that's really cool, going back to my POS, is if I go into my settings, right, now it's going to ask me to enter my PIN again. It's a feature that I wanted to keep in there because you don't want to have people adjusting your settings. I also have this little green dot. This is an indicator that shows I have 1 minute to make changes. I think it's actually 2 minutes. I have 2 minutes here. 1 minute where it stays green, and then it turns yellow after another minute, and it counts down. So I have 2 minutes that I can make changes where the password doesn't have to be re-entered. But this is cool because
are all the settings saved locally as well?
Everything's saved locally, but I'm going to show you some cool stuff with this too.
So you could have 1,000 businesses all use this.
You could do this exactly. It's all saved locally, but it's all passed through a query. It passed through a URL string, so I can give you a URL that is your whole point of sale, right? So if you're a business owner, even though you're running off my server, and you could run this on any server, you could fork my code, you could run it on your own Netlify or Vercel or whatever, you can take this address that you're going to get and copy that and open it up in an iPad, and you could have 10 different iPads all open at the same time with the same point of sale. So in this version, let's say this is the demo I was doing before when I was doing this for Albi. Let's say go to like Google and then just look for a Nostra logo, right? So I'll grab the Nostra logo, just take that, copy the image address, and then, did I get it right? Copy link address, is that right? Yeah, no, that's not it. I want the copy image address. There we go. That's what I want. So then I'll take this, I'll go back here into my settings, and I'll just paste that in. Yep. And so it immediately shows me a preview of the logo. I'll call it the Nostra store, right? And then I want to change my theme. So now I'm going to pick a different theme. So I've got Nostrich as my theme. It's going to have my let me save my settings here. The other thing that's cool, and I'm going to change the aspect ratio of this window because you'll see it more like a tablet size screen. This is what it would look like. So then I'm going to go to tips. You can see I can change my tip percentages, but this is something I also wanted to add, which is a separate wallet for tips, because maybe you want to do that. Yeah. This is also not a BuzzPay feature.
That's very cool.
So let's say I want to do that. I'm just going to go grab, I have this like note saved somewhere that's got this on it. I'll take a different string. I'm going to paste that into here. NWC. Boom. And it's going to say, right, Nostra Wallet Connect. And I can see it's from my Albi account. And so that's going to be my tip wallet. So then let's save that, right? Go back to my main point of sale screen. Now it's the Nostra store. It's got the logo and the branding up here. As I enter in a price, now the button's going to be purple. I'm going to send my first payment to this first invoice. Let's do that now. And you're going to see one difference from what you saw before, which is when I hit add tip and then I calculate that in, you're going to see it's going to say using tip wallet.
Very cool.
I didn't tell it how to design that, by the way. Like the AI just figured it out, and it made this little pill shapes text
Yeah.
call out that says using tip wallet. So that's awesome. Now I can go ahead and pay that, and that's going to go to the separate wallet. So now if I were to go back to my Rizful, you're going to see only the payment for that 9 sats came into this wallet. The other 1 sat went into a totally different wallet. And then there's a couple other things. Like this is the share screen. So this is the one that I was showing you before. So Derek, can you open up a new browser on your end?
Yep.
Right, and just go to. Well, in fact, you should even share your screen.
Well, paste that out in the.
Right.
Yeah, copy and paste that in.
I'll copy and paste this. I'll stick it in here, right?
Yeah.
So then that's so. The other thing about this code here is I actually this is different than what Albi does. I actually had this compressed, so it's not just the raw data that's in the string. I actually used JSON compression, which I told it to just figure out a compression method. So it did that. So now all this information that's in here is less takes up less space when you send that string out. So if you were to just go to my, I'll even show you here. Let's log out of this completely, right? I'm going to log out, encode, submit, right? Instead of going to Connect Wallet, you go to the import shared URL. And then if I just paste that in and hit import, I do have to set the pin again. But if it's all done correctly, there it is. It came right back. All the same settings.
I don't know the pin, so I can't get into it. But
no, you make your own pin. You make up your own. It's the pin. It's all stored locally.
Gotcha.
Right? You make up your own pin.
Yeah, I said yeah.
But now you have access to that same wallet. That
and then boom, I got my Noster store. All right. Very cool, Daniel.
And both of those 2 wallets that are in there are both read only. So you could just like pay it if you wanted to, and you'd have you know basically be able to just run your store that way. You could have like 10. Yeah, there's a payment chime. Yeah. You can preview the lightning flash. Yeah, what else can you do in this? There's this is one more thing. I just want to show you my other favorite feature in this is called tip only, which no one else had. So if you forgot to leave a tip, or if you just love this coffee shop so much, you just want to come and leave a tip, you just go to tips only mode. It's over here on the left side, but it's also up here on the top. So if you see the little heart button up there, as you hover over that, tap that, it turns to tip only, and I can just put in whatever I want and tip. And then in my settings, I also just have these other fun themes. So I have like Orange Pill. I have one called Beehive, which is the homage to the original BuzzPay. I've got Nut Job for Cashew, and these are like ones for different restaurants that I've already installed this into. So Safari in Harlem, Solid State is a new coffee shop that's going to be using it soon, and then this is just one I did for Blocktron because I thought it was fun. So yeah, and you can I'll take requests for themes, by the way. If you guys have ideas, just let me know and I'll throw them in. But that's BuzzPay. That's Sats Factory. So
Daniel.
Yes.
First of all, this is really well done. Like I really like the flow, and you really thought about almost everything. Like it surprised me that in many points of sales, like these things are just like, I don't know, maybe they do them on purpose, like in an annoying way. But anyway, this is really well done. I just want to understand something real quick because I feel like maybe you said it very quickly. When you share the instance, are you also like sharing the entire kind of like config or the entire? How did it get all that information?
It's all in that string. It's all like in that one string.
Oh wow! Like the logo and all of it is in
everything.
That string.
Well, it's all
wow. It's all like base 64 encoded, probably.
Exactly.
Yeah, but like now I'm wondering, like, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter because I mean anybody can base 64 decode it. So what are they going to get? They're going to get your read-only Nostr Wallet
Yeah, I mean,
Connect.
you
Like
should
it's
only
no big
use read
deal.
only. Yeah, that's the, and maybe what I should do is like put a little bit more of a disclaimer in this, like letting people know that for their best practices and safety should only ever use a read only string.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm
but
just thinking
even
like worst
that,
case
like,
scenario, like
The-
some business like shares that out to like other people, and they're using a wallet that isn't read only or something like that, and somebody base 64 decodes that.
you still, I don't think you still get the actual. I'm not sure you'd even get the actual NWC string out of that. But that's an area where I don't have enough experience to tell
Yeah,
you like someone could probably reverse engineer it if you use a non-read only string. For also
Give it
like
to Semi. He'll
if
hack
you
the heck
did
out of it.
accidentally
yeah.
share
I
a
mean,
string
like
that you
here,
don't,
I'll
yeah, exactly,
share my
yeah.
screen here. I just got your Nostr Wallet Connect string. Yeah, like if you
While you were talking, I
yeah.
was pinging. Uh,
So
sorry.
no, I was just gonna say like if you look like so I just went to this website and decoded it. So here's his Nostr Wallet Connect string.
Are you sharing your screen? I don't see it.
It,
Let me,
you
let
have
me
to
stop. Oh, there we
specifically
go. Okay, there we go.
look at mine. But yeah,
Okay.
so like here's your. That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
there's your
Okay, so you were able
connect
to reverse
string,
engineer
your
that
pub
pretty
key,
well.
the
Yeah.
URL to your logo, like your whole config. I can read it, which is fine. I mean, here's your personal Nostr Wallet Connect string. So do you want me to like is that bad that this goes out
No,
publicly?
because even that one is is also read
Okay,
only.
it was
Like
like because otherwise
I
I'll have to
created
edit this
a
video.
unique one in my node just for that.
Okay.
I mean, it's probably for like best practices. I should just delete any ones that I'm not using. But
Yeah.
and you can do that, by the way. Like if
I
you have
I'm
a
just
if you
thinking
have a string,
the
yeah,
average person out there doesn't know like when they're going to set this up, they're not going to get a read only Nostr Wallet Connect
no.
string.
And so this is the
And
kind
if
of
they
thing where
share it, they're going to share potentially draining wallet strings to people.
you would, yeah. I mean, that's also like as a business owner, like the reason I have it, I lock it out. Like there is a pin code requirement there, is because I want to make sure that if you are running this as a business, you are following the right procedures, but you're also, I'm giving you an extra layer of protection with that pin code. You're pretty much only ever going to take your point of sale and put it onto another iPad, another tablet in your store, or have an employee potentially using it on a personal device.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, for
Yeah.
absolute
This is
best
absolutely
practices, you
amazing.
should
Don't get me
only
like
ever
I'm not
generate
trying to.
a
This is
read-only
absolutely amazing and
connection
it's
string.
very easy.
And Daniel, you probably
I'm reading
can
shit.
like when
Oh, it
you
does
hit the
actually warn you, by the
share.
way. I forgot to
Yeah,
show you
like
that.
Daniel, this is
Yeah,
absolutely amazing, and I think it's very
yeah.
easy, and I think it's people are absolutely going to use this, and it's very easy to onboard and very easy to set up. Just a disclaimer that whenever you go to share this, say that I would add a disclaimer saying that if you're going to share this, make sure you're using a read-only wallet. Otherwise, you're sharing a string that
Right.
could lead to a bad time.
I think that's a great idea. It does actually have, I didn't show up before, but it does have a warning that pops up if you were to enter a non-read only string. It can detect that. So it'll say, like,
Okay.
it looks like this string, this NWC string is allowed to make payments.
It
Are you
would
sure
be
you want to
it would be
proceed?
cool if
Yeah.
like like if it can, since it can detect that, it would be cool if you
Rejected.
literally wouldn't allow a read and write to be added.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. I think the reason I didn't do that was because, I mean, first of all, like I hadn't thought it through completely, but also, to be honest, but also like I didn't want to limit people from being able to test it.
Yeah, no, I get
Um,
it. This is why we're here, man. Like
yeah,
we're all learning as we go, and I think that anybody that has a thought about how to make anybody's project, more safe,
no,
secure,
it's great. I love
vulnerable,
it.
just this is why we're all
Because
here.
again, like I want to make sure, like if I'm gonna recommend this to people, and let's say I have half a dozen businesses here in New York City that
Yeah,
need this. Part of the reason why they need it is because there's no other fucking options for them. Like I can't give them Square because none of these things work in New York. You can't get you can't get Primal Wallet. You can't get
yeah,
Strike. You
Yeah.
can't get
And you know
river.
this firsthand because you literally
Yeah,
worked at a
I
Bitcoin bar. Like,
worked at an establishment where we did this
yeah,
every day, and I also set them up too, like Safari Restaurant, which is in my part of town. They're the first restaurant in New York City, other than PubKey, that ever did lightning payments.
cool.
And now I've got another restaurant that just opened that's testing this out. So I've got a pilot program. It's another bar uptown near Columbia University. They also now accept Lightning. It's on the BTC map already. They also own that owner has two other restaurants in the city that we're going to be onboarding also.
Great.
And then we've got coffee shop. We've got probably, like I said, there's like half a dozen businesses that are already interested. I've been talking to, but I don't want to give them all access to this until I'm sure it's working.
Yeah.
Not charging them anything until I know it's ready. Like
Yeah.
I'm the only thing I'm ever going to charge them for is consulting fees. This app is always free, and the thing I want to ensure is that there's never a subscription fee, because one of the barriers to accepting Bitcoin is not knowing how many people are going to come and use Bitcoin at your establishment. And let's say you have one customer a month that comes in regularly. Like that's not enough to sustain your subscription costs. So if you're running voltage and you're paying 25 to 50 bucks a month, or you've got all be in the cloud and that's 21,000 sats a month, like you're going to get sick of paying those fees if you're not making it up.
Especially when you don't know, like you said, the customer base. You could have one or two people that come in a month, and is it really worth it to front that
Exactly.
cost? So this is a good alternative.
So I want to give them like no reason to say no.
Yeah.
You pay me a consulting fee to go forward, and I'll teach you everything you need to know, but I'm never going to charge you a subscription.
Cool.
And I'm giving this knowledge out to people up front. I'm not even asking for any payment up front because I want them to be happy with this. Because what I need right now is not, yeah, income's awesome, but what I really need is like case studies. I need them to experience this, use it,
Yeah.
and write up a really good review, and then I can go start, going out to different businesses, not just New York, but like everywhere in the
Yeah.
country. Because if you look at BTC Map right now, you'll see like there's nothing out there. Like there's fucking nothing.
Need more
Like
people to
nobody.
put their businesses on BTC Map if they aren't using it. Cool.
Yes.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
Daniel.
TK's right. It's lawyers. It's all
I want to
lawyers.
give other people a chance to talk about what they're building or what they've worked on this week here.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. This
That
is
is
awesome.
awesome. Like I'm excited to test it out myself, and maybe even some businesses here in my small town have them demo it at some point in the future. That's very cool. So TK or Patrick or Seth, anybody else like I know that is working on any vibe coded apps? Do you have anything you want to present or talk about or share or questions? The floor is open to whoever wants to go next.
I can share if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm gonna share real quick because I need to hop off. But um, as you may or may not know, I am working on an Apple TV
Yes.
Noster client that basically streams all the streams that we see on Zap.stream and all the others to your console and then your big TV. And I'm trying to like figure out all the ways that we can make it more like give it a little bit more Noster experience. I am building that into Xcode. I'm not using any. I was using Goose to build it, but this is the part that I want to share with the group, and maybe it's a little bit helpful to know that it exists. Xcode 26, the new one, the beta version, which hasn't come out yet, has AI built in. There's a small like icon that you hit, and it basically vibe codes inside Xcode itself, and it's really really powerful. It hits GPT, so it's talking to GPT-5, and all the app I built over Goose and Quinn Code 3, I think. The last couple of bits, I've been doing them in GPT-5 and inside like Xcode. It took one prompt exactly to create a QR code that has the LN address, and it pulled it from the profile of the streamer. exactly like one prompt. Maybe I made one edit to it because the first prompt gave me the wrong density of the QR code, and it just said like, "Hey, the density that you gave me is wrong. Can you look at it again?" And it just like figured it out. I'm trying to figure out how to add comments using the mic that comes with the Apple TV, where you can just like speak to it and it will like post a comment. It did not work. It seems like it was too ambitious to do that. Um, but I guess something like that might be possible. So I'll continue to vibe code that part. But for now, if any of you has an Apple TV, likes to test it, that the test flight is out there. You can I can put it in the chat as well. It's pretty neat and coming together, and experiencing with new tools as well. But yeah, still thinking about ways of how to make it an Oster experience, not just like, oh, it's an IPTV, right? So the Zaps was one, having the link. I mean, it's not really Zaps; it's just a Lightning payment right now. But if I was able to add like comments of some sort, I think that would be cool. But yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, I can't obviously see it because I don't have an Apple TV device, but that's great. That's exciting that you were able to build this. I would recommend everybody that has an Apple TV device to check out his app and give him feedback so he can make it better, and we can purple pill the Apple TV users. What I'm curious about is like you have it in test flight right now, right? Like have you tried to get to graduate from test flight or no, not yet?
I have not yet. Um, there's a lot of question marks on how that would work.
Well,
I will
I
try
see so
soon.
many people struggling with that.
I
Like
know.
our well-known like Nostr devs struggle with it. So I was curious if you have tried to tackle that yet. So yeah, let us know when you do though.
Yeah, I need to figure out at least one or two items that I want to fix first before I move it outside where it's an app. I want to make sure that I figure out cleaning, let's say, not suitable for work
Okay.
hashtags.
Yeah,
So that's I
yeah.
think important.
That's I think I remember whenever you launched this months ago, like talking about that. I was like, man, like we know that what people streams from time to time on Zap.stream, So I don't know if old Tim Apple will like that. Hopefully, whenever they review it, none of that stuff is going on.
Oh, sorry. I did not hear the last 30 seconds, Derek.
Just me telling a bad joke, saying that basically, I hope that some of the bad streams that happen on Zap.stream aren't active whenever the reviewer reviews it.
Yeah, yeah. It's like it's just no good
Yeah,
when they sign in.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Just no
Uh
good doing his radio stream. Like, what
yeah,
needs to
no
happen
one's
is
streaming, I don't know,
the day that you submit it
UFC.
to the app store, you need to put it out on Nostr. Be like, please. Well, actually, no, don't do it because troll.
Oh my goodness, everyone will.
Tell your
Yeah.
friends to stream that day. So if there is any porn being streamed, like the good stuff, the wholesome content is streamed as well. So we drown it out.
Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah, that's something that will be a little bit difficult. I'm not gonna lie. Like
Yeah. Well,
I think
fingers
that will
crossed for
be
you, man. Like I
yeah.
hope you can do it. That'll be very cool because it'll be the first Noster TV app, right? I think that's actually what you're calling it, right? Noster TV.
Yeah, right now. We'll see if it ever graduates from that, but yeah,
Yeah,
it is
very
Monster
cool.
TV. Yeah, but I agree with you. These two things are, I mean, one having illegal, let's say, first of all, not suitable for work content. That's one. Two, illegal content. Like I don't know if someone's going to be streaming a movie or something.
Which does
Makes
happen
it,
sometimes.
which does agree, which does happen. So that will
Oh,
make
I
it
like that name.
also
Other Stuff
extremely
TV.
other stuff TV.
Go by the domain name quick.
Um, the last thing I'm thinking about is that if they would, not like the idea of having the QR code that you can zap, which right now they did not mind it
Yeah.
within the test flight, which is fine, I think. But outside the test flight, where the real test is. But yeah, that's my shill. I need to jump. It was
Okay,
really
sir.
nice seeing
Well, thank you.
Daniel's work.
I want whenever you can, post some screenshots or like a demo video or something so we can check it out.
Oh, absolutely. By the way, Daniel, I need to figure out a way to connect you with. I mean, you already know Trey from our side of the world, but he's working on a lot of orange pilling people
Yeah.
who sell, like, who have businesses, and I think he will really appreciate the Sats Factory.
Yeah, no, I'd love to. I mean, once I get it to a good place, like I've been building this for just about 2 weeks, and prior to that, I spent like months thinking about this. Like actually, probably like 2 years, like just trying to in my head think about how I would do this. And it's got all the features I want for today, but it doesn't have all the features I want down the road. Obviously, it needs to do more. I'd like to be able to find ways to like allow people to take payments over websites, not just in person. Like maybe interface it with like a BTC Pay server on the back end and have this be a custom front end. It's like there's a lot of things I want to build. Some of this I'm going to need probably some funding for. So my initial versions are just going to be like in-person point of sale, not even to replace an existing point of sale that you already have. It's just a way to augment it so you can take Bitcoin payments the way you would take cash. Yes, I would love to go and talk to him and have this kind of exist in different areas, like have build customer bases in DC and Philly, New York. I want to keep it regional for a little while just because I want to have a little bit of visibility into who's using it. Over time, obviously, it's going to go beyond what I can do, and I'm sure people will just start using it on their own. But initially, I want every one of these first kind of experience with it to be someone I've met in person and talked to, so they understand like all the different aspects of how it works. Because accepting Bitcoin, especially if it's your first time ever interacting with customers that are paying in Bitcoin, there's a lot of stuff you need to know. We were testing this out at the meetup at Harlem Bitcoin last week, and I thought 3 minutes for timeout was enough for a Lightning payment. Turns out it wasn't, because people have like everyone's got a different wallet set up and they're all weird. Like someone's like, I only connect over Tor to my node,
Oh
and someone's
yeah. Well,
like, I
it's
use
people that
Phoenix,
use people that use
or
a VPN or Tailscale or
yes,
something,
or
and
yeah,
they need to like start up 4 different apps before they can connect to their node. And yeah, no, I've been
or
that
someone's
guy.
like, no,
I've
I
been
only
that
have
guy.
Sats on. I have it on like Blue Wallet, but it's not on Lightning. Can I pay the invoice that way? And I'm like, no, you need to move it to
Let
yeah.
me
Let me
compile a
compile a
new
new
kernel
kernel.
and before I can make this this lightning payment real quick.
Download Phoenix, and okay, then you have to wait
Oh,
an hour for your Bitcoin to go from on
but
chain to
the
Phoenix.
average person, like your average
No,
Bitcoin nerd, isn't going to do that. It's just like your hardcore maxi that has like,
yeah.
you got to spin up your tunnel before your SSH tunnel before you can do this.
I just want to be able to make it easy for as many people as
Yeah,
possible. But yeah,
yeah, no, absolutely.
so
You got to
every
appease the
single time
nerds.
every time I try to demo this, someone brings me a completely new, weird, fucked up wallet that I have to like, okay, how did you even find this?
Okay. Anybody else want to talk about something working on? Patrick or Seth, Troy, Jay, Chad, Heather, Tony?
Hey, Derek.
Hey, Seth.
Nice, very nice product, Daniel. Uh, Definitely big
Thank you,
kudos
my
to you
friend.
there, my friend. Really cool. It definitely, you know, level set like where we are in the vibe coding. You just like we're talking in terms of time where you're like, yeah, I've been working on this 2 weeks. I'm like, 2 fucking weeks, dude. Like you're fucking crushing it, man. Like that's a
Well,
call
I've also, I've had nothing else
product in
going on.
two
Like that was
weeks.
my whole primary focus. Now I have a new job starting, so I'm going to be a lot slower. But this was,
Yeah.
I had to get it done this summer.
No, that's super cool, and I love this format and like showing off these projects, and you know um,
No,
just gives you
absolutely.
new ideas and different perspective. It's really cool.
Do you have anything you want to show? I know at one point you
No,
were
I'm
working
I'm
on something.
well, no, I'm partially being lazy, and also like I can't follow that. So
Yeah, but okay, well, let me ask you this: is Zap.cooking getting a vibe code upgrade?
no, you know what, the damn shame in the whole thing is like I just sat there and I was like, why am I not like working on that a little more often?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no.
Like you were working on the what I'll call like alcohol anonymous
Yeah, sober
posting.
key. Yeah.
So what was it called?
Yeah, sober key.
Sober Key. Yeah, you were
Yeah,
working on that. That was vibe coded, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's like you put some effort into it, and then you chase a new squirrel, and I kind of fall
Dude,
into
there's a
that
lot of
trap.
squirrels. On this side of the fence, you call that nerd sniping. That's what Will likes to call it. So I've been
Yeah.
try to call it that too. You nerd snipe yourself into a new squirrel, and you go down a new rabbit hole. We've all done that.
uh,
That's why I have like half a dozen or more apps that I'm maintaining now because I keep getting new ideas, and it's like shit. More time I got to spend on another app.
yeah. No, but the last one I did was, asknoster.io, and I
Oh
totally
yeah,
vibe coded on the MK stack with
yeah.
Shakespeare. So nice product right there. Just build you up.
What did that do? So I can share my screen unless you want to. We can talk about that real quick.
Um, which one?
Your
The just
was it
Rust?
asknoster.io?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, do you want to share your screen? You set up for that, or you want me to?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I said I can. I'll
I'm
share it.
underprepared.
I'll drive, but you can talk. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm on. Where are
Well,
we?
taking advantage of the Nostr concept, and as you can see, it's very slow. So, some work to do there. But basically, just ask Nostr, taking advantage of that T tag there, and pulls up all the hashtags for Ask Nostr, and just shows you a place where conversations are happening
So
on.
this just is specifically kind of bound to the Ask Noster hashtag,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and whenever you post a question, it automatically adds the hashtag. I assume.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
But the cool thing I liked about uh, this little project was, just you can ask Nostr just without logging in. You can just ask a question, and it'll ask Nostr, and then may feel a little spammy, but I'm trying to really get the anonymous aspect of Nostr, and burner keys and that concept kind of
Was this
engaged.
a paid or free version of?
No, that was the paid version
Okay.
with was it Opus? I think it's the
Oh,
engine
I'm
behind
spelling
it.
it. Yeah, or GLM, depending on when you made it. Yeah, very
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. I think that you you gotta play around. You gotta figure out what the limitations are, not only for you but the AI, and figure out how to talk. Kind of like what I was saying.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were here in the beginning, but basically saying a lot of the process is learning how to have a conversation. Like you need to have good communication skills and be able to interpret what you see in your mind's eye and get that down on written words to be able to describe what you want the AI to build. Because otherwise, it's gonna take the wheel, and
Yeah.
it may not give you exactly what you wanted. It may not fully flesh out a lot of ideas because it just it doesn't know. So you need to have a full like design spec that you can
Yeah,
work
yeah,
with.
and the more information you can feed it
Yep.
to kind of outline it, the better. I did my experience with Shakespeare though. It was pretty quick to kind of, because I've been trying to vibe code different Nostr apps for a couple years now. Just since coding has been associated with AI,
Yeah.
and like with that tool, Shakespeare, you can just plug it in, and it feels like it knows Nostr a little bit better. So I know that it's Claude on the back end, but yeah, it just seems like it just flows a little bit easier, and it's getting better and better and better, and
Yeah, and that's so. The reason that Shakespeare knows Noster compared to other agents, other like AI tools, is because it uses the MK stack template, and then it uses a Noster library. So it uses all these tools that were built specifically for Noster. It also uses the
nice.
Noster book MCP. Like there's it's a it's a compilation of like 3 or 4 different tools that have been built specifically for AI and Noster. So that's why it knows Noster better than pretty much
Yeah.
any other tool.
Well, and it's such a good compliment to Noster because of the way that you can just well, the way that Noster is so interoperable with like all the other apps,
Yep.
and even just connected with different things and the way that you can. It's like the ultimate like playground,
Yeah.
little sandbox to
Well,
just play
it knows
around
the
with.
nips. It knows how the nips work. It knows
Yeah.
custom nips, like from nosterhub.io. If you have a custom nip that you made or somebody else made on nosterhub.io, you can copy the natter address and paste it right into uh, the chat window and say, use this custom nip that somebody else built. Like if you were, for example, Chad, he's down in the chat. He has a custom nip for geocaches, and if you wanted to add caches maybe to your profile because you were making like a personal website, let's say, and you're big into geocaching, so you wanted to add like caches you hit or something like that, you could just say, hey, I would like to add these custom events. Here's to my profile. Here's the natter to how this all works, and paste it in there. Interoperability is very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, I love it.
Speaking of Chad, I
Mhm.
want to give him a chance to talk because Chad built something pretty cool the other day. Maybe was it just yesterday or 2 days ago?
Well, shucks. I started about Friday afternoon. No, okay, 11 a.m. on Friday. I was going to get myself a donut and coffee, and I saw, as I was waiting in line, I saw a request from Callie of someone should make a heat map for BitChat. I was like, you know what? We can do this. We have Shakespeare. We have all the tools. Let me actually see if I can share my screen before I start polishing up such an idea here.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah,
There we go.
Give us the
Oh,
2001
Inception.
Inception. We can go deeper. Okay, there we go.
So there we go. So yeah, so the task was make a heat map. Shakespeare can do it. It did it. And then Lemon came in and said, "Hey, it'd be really cool if you could join chats from here." And that, I think that was the diesel or rocket fuel sprayed on top of this small spark here. So I spent the next couple of days working out how to do just that. So what you have now is a bitmap, which is basically a map display of, or a heat map rather, of various activity related to 20,000 ephemeral events that are also being used in the Noster relay form of a communication in the BitChat app. And these are all tied to various geohashes, which, if you're unfamiliar, is just a string representation of a particular set of coordinates in the globe. The more specified, I think, can go, well, at least up to like, 8 or 9, probably a few more. But the more characters, the more specific. It get all the way to the point where it is in your backyard. And then the less characters, the less specific, to where you could do, let's see, over here in DR, Derek Ross's Kingdom over here. This is like a huge grid of the United States. Most people are picking like 2 or 1 characters. Let's see. Did anyone picking? I'll pick something specific and say hello.
Could you zoom in to make it a little bit?
Oh yes, you got it. Of course.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so let's see. So is this mine? Hopefully it is. Well, it's someone's. Okay, there we go. Of course, the chat will not scale accordingly, but you can see here, you can open the chat, interact with it like anyone else. You can do @ mentions, block users, turn the spam filter on and off, which has probably been about 50% of the battle at this point. Although I'm not fighting it too hard, but it is at least an interesting exercise in understanding patterns of spam, human speech. What is a bot and noise versus a real human expression? It gets into some nitty gritty philosophical stuff. But let's see.
Cool. You can browse the map, see where conversations are happening and what geolocation, and then you can pop right in and start chatting if you want.
Yeah, you can be yourself as your Noster identity. You can generate an ephemeral one on the fly here. You can save it for later. This is all kind of borrowed from the existing templates for account creation.
And how much
you can
of this
teleport.
was AI assisted development?
Ooh, let's see, probably 80%. Hence why I was able to get it done in a couple of days here. Like I'm still reviewing and auditing the code it's putting out before I'm actually merging things up. Well, most of it there's a few hot fixes pushed out during some fun bot spam ways because I was like, yeah, I'm gonna experiment with this live. But for the most part, yes. So I have it generate the code. I critique it. I say no, 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 yes, yes, yes. Test it, nudge it bit by bit, and then if it can't figure it out, I'll go in and manually curate certain aspects of it. But most of that at that point is like UI mobile responsiveness. Like if I were to go here really quick, hopefully no one's saying anything too saucy in this chat right
I
now.
know. It's the
Yeah, like
live demo. They sometimes they get you.
yep. So like this mobile UI, I had to manually tweak it. It wasn't too much, but it sometimes I've noticed the I'm using GLM for clear disclaimer. Claude could probably figure out some of this, but GLM struggles sometimes with the idea of like minimal design and mobile responsiveness. But anywho, so that's most of the features. The other thing here, this is using the same. Well, I don't know if they're using the same core relays. I'm just using these for like a quote unquote global. I think I'm gonna take these two off because these three, this one in particular populates like 90% of the messages.
Yeah.
And then the rest here, if you pop in the chat, it'll try to find five
So also
geographically close ones.
you implemented the new geo relays feature then.
Yep, yeah. So this is it'll so it still uses global and then like a handful of like spread out geo relays to figure out where things could be happening. It's not 100%, but it's pretty uh, reasonably accurate. And then once you go in the chat, it'll connect to the globals plus 5 geo relays to simulate a bit chat like experience. But let's see. Oh yes, and you can also, if you don't like the relays for whatever reason, let's say Domus is the only one that handles spam, and you hate all these other ones, you can go through and disable them. It'll ignore things. So there's a few more pieces here to where you can hopefully make your experience better. I'm looking more for mostly for the purpose of fun. I'm looking into various bot mitigation efforts or spam mitigation, since a solution for one is a solution for all in this current ecosystem. But aside from that, I think that's at least the entire gist of this.
Yeah.
Of course, all made of MK Stack and Shakespeare. This is probably the main point here. Is I wanted to show like using these tools, you can make a lot of cool stuff. I pretty much everything I've made has gone through heavy usage, very intentional usage of MK Stack. Could I make it by hand? Maybe, but that'd take weeks or months. And we're in a timeline where we're making stuff by the day here, so this is
Yeah.
time to be building.
We're in a weird timeline where, like, let's say you wanted to do a major change to this, you could. It is almost better or easier to just start over and start a new project and just take the prompt and maybe use this as a reference instead of trying to edit what you have. Like we're in like a throwaway application age. It's really weird.
Mm-mm. Absolutely, yeah. It's very inspiring. It's mildly terrifying in some aspects, but I mean, I felt such a exhilarating rush when working on the treasures originally because I was working a full time job. Well, still I am technically, but the point is that but doing that by default, most people just don't have the time in the world for this. So this really enables everyone, like at every level, to if you have an idea and it's good, you can make it like right now or in the like 2 weeks or what have you. Like the things can move a lot quicker now, and you don't have to be gatekept by certain ideas or certain designs or certain like systems. Like we have like several clients right now for BitChat, for instance, all using the same Nostr protocol like event structure. I think that is awesome personally. I say if you have any ideas related to that, yeah, keep it up. But anyway, that's my piece at least.
You hit the nail on the head. You can go from idea to prototype to product with just a short amount of time via a small conversation. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing. It's a very cool project. I'm anxious to see what else we're going to add to it over the, coming days, weeks. Who knows? It's really cool though. It's nice to have another BitChat client. There's several of them that are popping up all over the place. But great work on that, Chad.
Thank you, and you as well on yours. I very much like the terminal interface.
Yeah. We got to geek out about that and figure out how to make that into a stack template, as you were saying. That'd be cool. And then we
Mm-hmm.
could, take advantage of that at Soapbox to do Soapbox things. Cool, cool. Patrick, sir, do you have anything you want to add this week? Have you had any updates to your plethora of application? Actually, hold that thought. When are you launching your BitChat client? I made one. Like, it's your turn. Like, this is how we do this. We figured out last week, right? Like, you're up next, man. Patrick isn't here. He didn't get to hear that. Oh, there he is. He's in the chat. Well, once you use BitChat, you're gonna be like, oh man, I gotta make one of these. Let me see what Derek built. All right, I'm gonna make mine better than Derek's. That's what you do, and I love it. I love it.
This
Cool.
intersection of BitChat and Noster, I think, is just fantastic timing.
It's really cool. There's a handful
Yeah.
of people that I've talked to the past couple days that are like, hey, how's this work? We're not on Bluetooth. And I'm like, oh, it's using Noster. What's Noster? Oh, you can, it's a new way to purple pill people. I love it.
Isn't it funny how like they keep popping up? Back in the day, it was Wallet of Satoshi. To purple pill your friends, which led to the orange pill.
Yep.
In reverse, and now we're seeing it being reborn again. So
very cool. Yeah, I hope we can fledge this out and build it into different apps. Like, I know Amethyst is going to add it, and I'm sure others will too. I know Soapbox is going to work on a project that will most likely add it in some capacity. We were talking about the other day, so we'll see. Very, very cool stuff. Does anybody else have something they want to share? Heather may have something if nobody else wants to go. Jay, St. Louis.
Yeah, I think STL's got some, probably one or more projects, way more than I've only have like simple things.
St. Louis is a vibe coding fiend. He's been all over the stacks and Shakespeare. If you don't want to talk, that's cool too. If you're just here to hang out, but I know you wanted me to look at your wiki, your Noster decentralized documentation. I have it up on my other screen here. But so you vibe coded this. We could talk about it right now if you wanted to. I'll share screen if you don't want to. You let me know, brother. Troy, thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Okay, well, Heather, do you want to talk about something? I know you played around with some vibes. You can have the floor for a little bit if you want.
Played with some vibes. Yeah. Okay, so let me find my thing real quick that I'll share something I made that's super simple. Here, I'll drop it in the chat in case anybody wants to steal the idea. But I made.
Doing, and I just thought of this. Is because you were talking. I was like, oh man, when you said share, I was like, what's she going to share? Is she going to share the link or is she going to share her prompt?
I'll share my screen. Hang on, I'm trying to. There we go.
Cool.
You can have my entire screen. That's super fun. So we'll look into my. Here it is. So there's the end product, right? So this is super simple. Like, I can share you the link and you'll see it, but like, I always give myself some ability to log in and mess with things. So this is like the extension of like teaching yoga on a Noster. So like, you can obviously, when I teach yoga on Hive Talk, which hasn't happened for a while, but when I do that, you can zap me on Noster, which is how people have always done it. But like, if I want to onboard some normies to the idea of, hey, we have this Noster app called Hive Talk, and I teach yoga on it, and people ping me on Noster. And like, if it's a foreign language, then we can always like send them to a super basic website where I can make a calendar and say like, hey, here's when classes are, so I can add a class. And it has teacher controls that you don't see on the public facing website. So I got this to work. This was a super simple vibe coding thing. I think it called it Nostral Practice. But this was the prompt that you can see here. And it had a couple iterations with like some mock data and stuff that I had to get rid of that, obviously. But this is just super simple. And then if you're like, what is Noster? What is a payment? Blah, blah, blah. I just give it a simple link so people could pay with Zaprite, which if you don't know what Zaprite is, you give customers the choice of whether they want to pay with dollars or Bitcoin. So you can take payments either way, and you leave it up to the person. They can pay $1, $5, $10, Bitcoin, US dollars. It doesn't matter. So then I can manage the class schedule, and this came from an idea of, there's obviously a closed source yoga teacher website that I could have used, and it's called Ubindi. And the only thing that's really different is that people give an email address. Well, people on Nostr aren't going to give an email address, so like this serves just fine. Like I could put this silly link right here. I could put that as like a link in bio. I could send this in a mailing list if I wanted to my normie yoga teacher students. And I think I messed with it for a while, probably too long. So it ended up being like $31. So like for $31, you can just build a website, and then, maybe look into getting it a domain, because I don't know why I called it Nostral Practice, but it did. And then the other one was like build a yoga teacher website, which this one was a little more complicated. If I'll open this one up, I don't know. There we go. This went through a couple iterations too for $18. It likes to put in mock data, so I have to tell it, not to do mock data. Oh, I think it just disconnected. It could be my internet tonight. But it first made a green site, and then I was like, make it purple. So this is just super simple things that you can do with Shakespeare. And then another one, this was, I stole Tanya's prompt for this one and made a personal website and kind of altered it. It made it similar to what she did, but I had it alter it and do different colors. I said, make it an Art Deco theme. So it added little things to it. But it pulled things from my Nostr profile that I have written there. And then it actually pulled some of my writings that are posted there. And it didn't pull every article. It actually did a really good job on Tanya's website, which she posted on her profile. But I had to tell it like a couple different things. Like this was a long form thing that I'd posted on Primal. So like it didn't load that in. So I told it, hey, load that in, load in the mining stuff that I wrote. And so it did. But most of this, it kind of like automatically did, much like it did with Tanya's website. Like if you look at hers, it's a pretty pink, purple, really feminine version of this. And I just wanted to see if I could make it do Art Deco, or like make it do, or what would it do if I said, hey, instead of just like a feminine website, do an Art Deco website, and I could have done anything. I could have said, make it look like a video game website. But it adds all this stuff in that it read on its own, and it's pretty decent what it came up with. And I think it probably stole this from Tanya's. So I went on with this for a while over the weekend, just to see if I would get a similar, and I did get a similar result from what Tanya got. So that was kind of a couple just simple prompts, things that you can build really easily with Shakespeare, just by saying like, hey,
No,
you
it
can.
looks great.
Yeah, so like just some creative things that you can do. There was another one I did where I said, make me a personal website based on my NPub, and like it was super simple. Let me see if I can find that one.
And that's essentially
'Cause
what I did for my webpage. I don't know, a month or so, 2 months ago or whatever. I said, "Here's my NPub. Here's my existing website. Do the thing, like update it and add all this Nostr
Yeah,
content." And it did. It added
you see,
pictures. It added blogs. It added Kind One notes. It added calendar events. I'm gonna have to go back and like now that we're like doing yaks, I'm gonna have to update it and tell it to add yaks
there we go.
and I don't know
Oh,
what
yeah,
else. I'm gonna have to add
yeah,
vlogs, I
correct. So yeah,
guess.
this was kind of funny. Like it kind of makes up a couple things that are funny. Like there's actually like that didn't turn out on the background there, so that's kind of a mistake. And then like music philosophy, like I just threw that in there. This is something I actually say in my bio. But then it kind of organized like with emojis, like things that were in my bio. So like
Yeah, no,
It
that's
just
good.
kind of, does a little link there. So, I mean, this is the most super simple one line, one prompt. I could have gone back in and asked it to clarify this part of it. But this was a simple build me a personal website based on my master profile using my NPub, which is, and please make sure to import my profile pic to the website hero section. So it did that. So it probably would have done this without me saying import to the hero section. You could go back and say reorganize this, or like you could mess with this for a while if you really wanted to. But yeah, for $2.21, you could get the most simple. If you have stuff in your bio, if you don't have stuff in your bio, I have a bunch of crap in my bio, so that's what it made. So there
Very
you go.
Honestly,
cool.
same.
hmm Yeah,
Honestly,
like
that's the
it's
same
it's
as
just
me.
fun.
Mhm.
Yeah. So if you have nothing in your bio, but like I don't know, 2 words. It would be interesting to see what it would make. It might charge you less. I don't know.
I've got a lot in my bio, so I might be able to do something about that if I could
Maybe.
actually get it working correctly with a local first setup. But that's just personally me.
Well, guess what, brother? I have some good news for you. Act 2 of Shakespeare that's coming hashtag soon will allow you to use all the LLMs that you want, including local ones.
Okay, does that include support for Olama and LM Studio?
That
The two that I have?
Olama, sure, but I don't know about what did you say the other one was?
LM
LM
Studio.
Studio. That I don't know. I'm actually not familiar with that, but Olama, absolutely, you should be able to.
Mhm.
I'd be happy to take a look soon then.
Yeah, like it's not ready yet in a couple weeks, but Chad, that's like Olama is 100% like working on in the demo or whatever we want to call it that is being worked on, right?
Yes, yes, and I would give it to you right now, if not for the fact that it's literally we went from AI SDK as one core library, and then that got ripped out for just using the direct OpenAI library plus like model context protocol. So the foundation is being rebuilt, but that is with the express intention to allow for way more model support instead of just a certain curated handful.
Yeah. So if you right now like you kind of have to use what AI we tell you that you use, but in the future you'll be able to use your own configuration, your own models, API keys, and you'll be able to like switch and change and do all that stuff, including local. So we will let you know, sir, a couple weeks.
That would be fantastic. Right now, it's just, what, Claude and Gemini? I was using Gemini to try to do a couple things behind the scenes, but otherwise, yeah, I could see where Claude could come in and just absolutely crush things. But I'm kind of poor and can't really
I get
provide for
it.
myself right now, so yeah,
Yeah, no, it's
that's why I
expensive.
mentioned it.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and we understand that. It you know had to do an iteration first to make proof of concept kind of thing. So the next
Mhm.
version
I
will be
get
able
it,
to
yeah.
support it. Yep. So yeah, I think a lot of people want that option. So you should be happy here in the very near future. We'll sing it from the heavens and make sure you know about it. Very cool
I
thing.
take it'll probably be some sort of local application form, or is Act 2 going to be like a website then you can
It'll be a
think?
website. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, so it's very
Yeah,
similar to how Shakespeare functions now, but also completely different under the hood. The
it is.
architecture is changing, but yeah, it'll be a website you'll go to.
Mhm.
Okay, so as long as I don't have to like upload anything, I should be okay then.
Yeah, it'll be like 110% client side in the sense that it has like a whole virtualized file system in the browser. The only external interaction at this point would be using a ingit or get over Noster to either push your projects externally for others to share or pull in projects. But otherwise, you could do everything within a single browser context, isolated from pretty much like all the NSPs and external network interactions. Well, aside from like the AI itself, but I digress.
True. I would take it to be using something along the lines of MK Stack.
Yes, yeah. So it will. And I'm curious. I know there's some strides to make the stacks flexible. That's probably going into minutia here, but yes, by default right now, it will use MK Stack, and then pretty much like hopefully a plethora of any model that could be supported. that is OpenAI compatible with this new change here.
Could even do a leak and do a leak of. I'm going to do that because that's what Derek wants to do. I'm going to share something real quick. Let's see.
That certainly makes sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna leak this. Don't screenshot this. But so like here's an example here. You can see my screen share. Like here's an example. Like you'll be able to choose different AI models.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I didn't show that. Don't tell Alex.
I'm sure he's cool with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't give away anything that I'm already not talking about. So yeah, it should.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but yeah, man. We should have you covered here in the near future. I'm excited. I don't run. Well, I do have an Olama instance, but it's not useful to me because I don't have a graphics card in this system anymore. So, anyways, yeah. I mean,
My graphics card would probably support maybe 6 or 7 billion parameters from what I tested. I tested a couple coding models in particular, so that's why I mentioned the Olama part.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Okay. Well, Patrick, we still have a few minutes left, but to get us underneath the 2 hour mark, you can talk about it this week, or we can postpone to next week. Whatever you want to do, man. It's up to you. I see you're unmuted now. I take that as a sign.
Am I coming through? Oh, there we go.
Mic works.
Never work figuring out what mic input.
I know. I hate it.
It's either or. What it will be, let's see, is I'm working on an app for cal.com that will let you integrate instead of just having to use like Nostercal kind of has this functionality, but it's very buggy. But you'll be able to use your Noster calendar inside of cal.com. So you'll be able to just go in here, install the app, using either Insect or Noster Connect.
Oh, I understand.
And then you'll be able to use this as your whole backend calendar instead of using Google Calendar or whatever.
Google, yeah. So you can still tell people to use cal.com, but the back end is your Nostr calendar and not your Google Calendar. Super cool. Very cool, sir.
And if I've done this all right, hopefully, oh, good. And so it just pulls in immediately the calendar that's all there for it. Eventually, I'll support having multiple 31924s, so you'll be able to pick. Maybe you only want this calendar to be what you judge your availability by, but right now it's just using the whole account of that MPub.
Dude, I'm going to yield the calendar czar over to you. You are kicking ass with calendars. This is amazing.
And it does go ahead, and there's an event on his calendar for sometime around this time. I forget what the exact time is, but it finds it, blocks it off, so it knows that it's not there. But if I go ahead and block this one in, it should generate a 31927 event, which isn't a part of the official spec, but it's one of the...
That's the private meeting event?
It's the private meeting block. It just blocks your time off. It's like a busy block. And then it also will generate a private 31923 gift wrap that I use on Nostracal. So the event details get stored on your calendar, but it's in a gift wrap so nobody else can see it. The only thing anybody else will be able to see about your thing is just what time that there's a busy block. So nobody can really see the details of who you're meeting with or anything like that. And then everything else is still handled internally inside of cal.com's interface. And then, of course, you can integrate your other apps like BTC Pay has an app for it. Albi has an app so you can do payments directly through cal.com. And then this handles all the calendar stuff.
Very cool, Patrick.
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll be finished off here in the next day or two. I'm having an issue with the insect sign-in not properly being able to read events, that I somehow pushed through as a bug, and I can't figure out where I put it in at. And we'll see how it goes from there.
How's your wife's website going? Working out well for her? You demoed it, I think, last week or the week before.
Yeah, it's doing great. She's been streaming through it.
Awesome.
Built a custom RTMP server for her that I might bundle up at some point and like ship out for other people to use.
Oh, okay, cool.
Let you automatically go through and like it's just like Zap.stream, but instead of using their RTMP server, you can run your own, and then you don't have to worry about paying sats or whatever. And it automatically, as soon as it gets a feed URL, it generates the events and everything to do it.
Is it basically like OwnCloud? Or not OwnCloud? Yeah, I think it was OwnCloud. No, not OwnCloud. Oh, shit, what was it? I'm running it. Let me go to it. Stream.derekross.me. What is it? Ustream? Owncast. I had that. Owncast, yeah.
I'm not familiar with Owncast. Let me look it up.
Yeah, that's open source RTMP server. Yeah.
Think of this as a restream type deal, but as Derek said, it's open source.
Yeah.
Nice.
Silly like Restream or like Streamio or something like that. That's what it is.
It would be just like this. So that's exactly what this, or the thing that I built, does. I didn't even know. I probably could have saved a lot of time just using this, but
No,
it will also let it stream it
the
out.
developer way. You build your own fucking tools. I like it.
You're right. It streams it out to Twitch and then her YouTube if she wants to do
Very cool.
YouTube and all those fun things.
Good stuff, Patrick. Okay, well,
Thank you all.
we are coming up on the 2-hour mark. Sorry for the delay earlier. Life calls, but it was a great session. We had a lot of great apps demoed, a wide variety of apps demoed. We had, over a dozen people in here at one time. Altogether, it was more than that. So yeah, very cool. Lots of demos, lots of new applications, lots of people building, lots of questions. So thank you all for coming. Thank you all for demoing what you're building and showcasing what you're building and talking about it. It was fun.
Yeah, this was epic. The legendary week of jam session, Derek.
Absolutely. Thank you.